I'm out here on a beautiful walk, a gorgeous day, and the video I want to make today is about how I didn't know that I was actually anxious. So, what I mean by that is, there's so much official diagnoses of anxiety and depression and things like that. And for a long time, I lived my life thinking, yeah, that's not me. And I still don't have any kind of official diagnosis. I happen to choose homeopathy as my healthcare of choice. And in working with a homeopath for many years, I started to realize that underneath a lot of other things was anxiety. Now, anytime I would go and get body work done or go to the chiropractor, anything like that over the years, what I noticed was the tension that I would have in my neck and shoulder area, huge amounts of tension. And it never occurred to me that I was holding all of my tension out of anxiety, that was part of the challenge that I had. And in my view, it was just, okay, I work a lot, I do a lot, that's just where I hold my tension. But when we're anxious, there's an aspect of holding almost like a suffocating, almost like a feeling like we can't move. And of course, anxiety can turn into panic attacks and all of that kind of thing. But I also was never one to worry in the conventional sense. Like as a mom, I would allow my kids to do lots of things that a lot of moms would never dream of. My oldest child was using a table saw at the age of 12. And, I just wasn't a big worrier in that sense. But what I was especially in my younger adult years, a big planner. I had to plan everything out. I had to map it all out. I had to figure every detail out and go through all of those kinds of things. And I later on began to learn, I've always been a perfectionist, and perfectionism is really more about control than anything else. So a lot of my own personal life journey has been about letting go and learning to let go and how to let go of control and be less perfectionistic. And that worry or that control and that perfectionism is a form of worry on a certain level. And so even though it wasn't the same kind of anxiety that you might see in a more traditional sense, I started to realize that, underneath that perfectionism and planning and need to control things was anxiety. So I just wanted to share that anxiety can be something that is very, very subtle and maybe is lurking in the background around things. And it can cause us to be tense and, up in our neck and shoulders. And just practicing breathing, practicing surrender, practicing being in places like this where it's gorgeous, blue sky, breezes, water, birds chirping. All of those kinds of things can be an amazing gift for calming anxiety. And it's okay to acknowledge and admit if there's some anxiety there. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you or that you're doing anything wrong. And I need to learn this lesson as much as anyone. My tendency is to always go to what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? And that in itself is a subtle form of anxiety. This like, oh, I'm anxious that I may not do it right, or I may not have it all be okay, right? And so this is really about inviting you to pay attention to the subtle forms of anxiety, the subtle ways that anxiety can creep in, the subtle ways we might have anxiety without even knowing it. And recognize it, notice it, be with it, allow for it, and relax from it. Find tools, I've done a number of videos and will continue to do a number of videos on all kinds of centering, grounding, meditative tools, and other tools that just help us to let go and surrender into this beautiful life that we've been given.